I am Aparna Sharma, tutor for chemistry. I'll be covering the chapter S block today. But briefly, before I start, let me walk you through how to access the revision notes and test in Clay6 website. If you go to clay6.com, click on practice. We are having various packages available here. But since we are doing with NEET Premium, if you click on NEET Premium, we are having test series for different subject, that is physics, chemistry and biology, and one NEET full test, that is a set of two sets are available in it. One which is prepared by Clay6 tutors and the other section is for past year papers. And for each subject, under each subject we have chapter wise test. So before we go into the test, at the top you have revision notes. If you click on revision notes, it opens in a new tab. And today we are going to do with S block elements. So what do we say it as S block elements? When we say S block, that is the element in which the last electron that is going to enter the S orbital. The elements in which the last electrons enter the outermost s orbital, that we call it as s block elements. And yes, of course, s block elements has two groups, that is your group 1 and group 2. Group 1 we call it as alkali metals. So in group 1 you will have lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. And in alkaline earth metal, we have group 2, that is beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and others. So group 1 elements we call it as alkali metals, and basically they form hydroxides when it is reacting with water, and it is strongly alkaline in nature. That is why we call, or the name given is alkali metals, because they have the tendency of forming hydroxide by reacting with water, which is basically alkaline in nature, and the term alkali metal is given. But when we talk about group 2 elements, that is alkaline earth metals, the oxides and hydroxides of these metals, they are alkaline in nature and it exists in earth crust, and they are given the name, since it is existing in earth crust, it is given the name as alkaline earth metals. So of course, when we say alkaline earth metals or alkali metals, the melting point and boiling point of alkali metals are going to be very low. Why? Because the intermetallic bond in them are basically weak. And when we talk about the exceptional property or the additional property, alkali metals, that is except lithium, they exhibit photoelectric effect. Hence, we could say that greater the charge on cation, greater will be its polarizing power. So when we say about different properties of your alkali metal, so basically first thing which we should know is the electronic configuration. The alkali metals have one loosely held valence electron, that is alkali metals have one loosely held valence electron, and in group 1 atomic radii, basically when we talk, it increases down the group, and so the alkaline, they are, if I say they are having loosely held valence electron, that means they easily lose the loosely held electron and it becomes your positive ions, thereby are the most electropositive metals. We could categorize that, since they have their intermolecular, or as I told you, they are having intermetallic bond in them are very weak. That means their tendency of losing electrons will be very fast, or it is very easy, and that is why they have the capacity to gain positive charge, and it becomes electropositive metals. They are becoming electropositive metals. And when we talk about few more properties like the ionization enthalpy. What is ionization enthalpy? So if we talk about ionization enthalpy, it is decreasing down the groove. So when it is decreasing down the groove, ionization enthalpy decreases down the groove. And if you are having the property, that is chemical properties, when we talk about, when we say chemical properties, how does it reacts with different elements? Like alkali metals, it get tarnished in the presence of dry air because of the formation of their oxides. And the metallic oxide which will be formed here, they will further react with moisture and they form hydroxide. So you could say that the alkaline metals could burn vigorously in oxygen and they form their oxides. They have the tendency of reacting with oxygen at a faster rate to form hydroxide, to form their oxide, sorry. And when it is reacting with water, it reacts with water and it will form hydroxide and dihydrogen. When alkali metals react with water, it forms hydroxide and dihydrogen. And when it is reacting with halogen, it forms ionic halides. And the alkali metals are considered to be a very good reducing agent, or we could say it is a very strong reducing agent. And lithium is the most powerful here, and sodium is the least powerful one. So lithium is the most powerful one and sodium is considered to be the least power. So when we talk about the lattice energy, that is greater the lattice energy, stronger or higher will be the melting point of the alkali metals halide. And of course from that we could inherit that the solubility of it will be low in water. Solubility of it will be considered low in water. And when we talk about the next, that is anomalous property of lithium. Why lithium is considered to be having an anomalous behavior? There should be some reason behind it. So when we say anomalous property of lithium, lithium has, that is why we say it as an anomalous property. Anomalous here means it refers to the deviation of the properties and behavior of an element from its usual or normal behavior. Anomalous means there will be some deviation from its actual behavior. So when we say why lithium has anomalous behavior, two reasons we could say that: it is exceptionally small in size of its atom and ion, and the second category is high polarizing power. So high polarizing power, greater the charge on the cation, greater will be its polarizing power. And when we talk about, like, when we say lithium is harder than other metals, you can consider that it has higher melting and boiling point compared to other metals. It is a least reactive, but it is a considered to be strongest reducing agent. So these are all the few properties of lithium deviates it from the other elements of that group. And when we talk about few combination or few group where we get the chemical compounds, or we say how the chemical compounds are formed. In that first example, if we take it as washing soda, The chemical name of washing soda, it is considered to be sodium carbonate, Na2CO3.10H2O. And it is actually a white crystalline solid. It is actually a white crystalline solid which is existing as dehydrate, which is existing as dehydrate. And on application of heat, actually when we apply heat, dehydrate will lose water of crystallization and it will form monohydrate, which will become completely anhydrous, but the temperature which we require is 373 Kelvin, and it will form white powder, which we call it as soda ash. And Na2, so there are certain methods of preparing um, washing soda. One method which we all know, it is Solvay's process, and it is basically, it is being used for softening of water, laundering, cleaning, manufacturing of glass, soap, and many more. And it is also being used in textile industries. And it is prepared by Solvay's process. So in Solvay's process, in short, if we see, it is actually the industrial preparation of sodium carbonate, or also it is called as soda ash, in which you will have carbon dioxide will react with dissolved ammonia to form ammonium carbonate, and which will be followed by ammonium hydrogen carbonate. And sodium hydrogen carbonate will actually separate out when it is reacting with ammonium carbonate and ammonium hydrogen carbonate. So Solvay's process is a method to prepare washing soda, but we should remember that this process cannot be used to prepare potassium. The reason behind that is, it is because of high solubility of potassium bicarbonate, and when solubility is high, it becomes very difficult to precipitate by adding the ammonium bicarbonate to a saturated solution of potassium, as here we are able to add it. And next, when we talk about, it is sodium chloride, NaCl. So prepare, when we talk about, it is prepared by chemical, or sodium chloride is derived basically by mining the deposits and crystallization of brine solution. How do we produce brine solution? Brine solution is produced as a result of the dissolution of deposits in water, which will contain sodium sulfate and calcium sulfate. And in brine, the impurities which exist is calcium chloride and magnesium chloride. So this is the method which we are using for sodium chloride. And the next one is caustic soda, which is none other than sodium hydroxide. So when we say caustic soda or sodium hydroxide, what do we mean that? It is a method which is used for refining of petrol. It is a method which is used for refining of petrol and purification of bauxites. It is used for purification of bauxites. So when we talk about different grouping or different element or compound combination, caustic soda is one of the important factor. And basically when we see the properties, it is also a white translucent solid which will melt at 591 Kelvin. It is a translucent solid which will melt at 591 Kelvin, and it will readily dissolve in water, which will give you a strong alkaline solution. It readily dissolves in water in order to give strong alkaline solution. And the crystals of sodium hydroxide, when we say, it is actually deliquescent in nature. And of course, sodium hydroxide will react with carbon dioxide which is present in the atmosphere in order to form sodium carbonate, which is used in manufacturing of even your soap, paper, fat and oil, or a variety of chemicals are being produced using sodium hydroxide. And it is also used to manufacture as a laboratory reagent. Many applications are there for sodium hydroxide. But basically, how the sodium hydroxide is prepared? It is prepared by electrolysis of sodium chloride, in Kastner-Kellner cell. Kastner-Kellner cell. And brine solution, it's first electrolyzed. In this, you use mercury as the cathode and carbon is made as the anode. So this method they are using in order to prepare caustic soda. And next one is baking soda, that is nothing but sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. So when we say baking soda, why do we require that, or what is the use of it? It is also a white crystalline powder, and the most important uses, it is used in baking industry, which is our day-to-day requirement. Because of application of heat, it will decompose and it will produce bubbles of carbon dioxide for the purpose of making the cake or pastries basically fluffy and light. And also it is used as a mild antiseptic to treat skin infection. And the another most important uses, it is being used in the process of fire extinguisher. So sodium hydrogen carbonate, when we say, it is being prepared by saturating with ammonia and passing carbon dioxide into the liquid. And since sodium hydrogen carbonate is less soluble, it will separate out from this reaction. Compared to this will be less soluble and we are able to separate it from the solution since it is being less soluble. And yes, of course, hydrogen carbonate of your both lithium and magnesium cannot be isolated basically in solid state. And when we talk about the atomic radii or ionic radii of the member of the family, smaller than the corresponding member of the alkali metals. And the alkaline earth metals, being because of their large size of atom, they will have to some extent low value of ionization energy when we try to compare it with other group of elements like your p block elements or d block elements. And yes, when we talk about next, that is most important, alkaline earth metals. Alkaline earth metals, the electronic configuration is Ns2, that is 2 valence electron. Ns2 means 2 valence electron we are going to say in it. And atomic and ionic radii, when we talk atomic and ionic radii, basically it will be lesser than the alkali metals. Comparing between the atomic and ionic radii of alkali earth metals, it is being lesser than alkali metals because of the increased nuclear charge in these elements. Because of the increased nuclear charge in these element, the atomic and ionic radii, basically it increase in atomic number if it is in the same group. And there are few properties, or we need to remember the ionization enthalpy, how it is changing, hydration enthalpy, how does it change, what is the change in ionic radii, or what are all the changes we are having. So it is very important to note that ionization enthalpy or ionization energy is nothing but it is the quantity of energy which we require in order to remove the loosely bound electrons from an atom. It is the energy which is required to remove the loosely bound electrons from an atom. And they have low ionization enthalpy because of their small or because of their fairly large size of the atoms. And ionization enthalpy, basically it will decrease with the increase in atomic size down the group. It will basically decrease with the increase in atomic size. And yes, of course, when we are talking about, we are having first ionization enthalpy, second ionization enthalpy. The first ionization enthalpy of these metals, the first ionization enthalpy of these metal is higher than corresponding alkali metals due to the small size of these elements when we try to compare the corresponding alkali metals. And when we talk about second ionization, these metal will be lower than corresponding alkali metals. So there are alkaline earth metals which will be, because of their large size, they have low values of ionization enthalpy or ionization energy, and the alkaline metals have two valence electron in their valence shell, and that if they lose, these atom will acquire the stable electronic configuration. They require the stable electronic configuration. And all the alkali metals, predominantly if we see, they will exhibit an oxidation state of +1. Their oxidation state in the compound, it is +1. And yes, of course, alkali metals are very strong reducing agent because they have the tendency to lose electron, and lithium is considered to be the most, or you can say strongest reducing agent. And alkali metals have the tendency of dissolving in liquid ammonia, giving deep blue solution which will be conducting in nature. And yes, when we talk about hydration enthalpy of alkaline earth metal ions decreases down the group and are larger than those of the corresponding alkali metal ions. That is, when we compare the alkali metals with alkaline earth metals have high hydration enthalpy compared to alkali metals. And all the alkali metals or their oxides or peroxides and superoxides, they will have the tendency of dissolving in water, which will produce corresponding hydroxide, and they are nothing but strong alkalis. So we could conclude that greater the charge on the anion, more easily it will be polarized, imparting more covalent character to that particular compound. So you could say covalent character will increase in this particular order. And when lithium is having the capacity to react with oxygen, it is least readily to form normal oxide, whereas comparatively the other alkali metals form peroxide and superoxide. So these are all few properties of alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. But when we talk about certain compounds of alkali earth metals, just as we saw the compounds of alkali metals like washing soda, baking soda, caustic soda, sodium chloride, and so on. In the same way, we are having an example for alkaline earth metals, that is quicklime. The chemical name of quicklime, it is calcium oxide, and it is a white amorphous solid. The melting point of calcium oxide is 2870 Kelvin. And basically it is used in manufacturing industry to manufacture cement, dye, stuffs, or sodium carbonate. And it is also used for the purification of sugar, which is our day-to-day requirement. It is used in the preparation of sugar. And calcium oxide is prepared by heating limestone, that is nothing but calcium carbonate, in a kiln at a temperature of 10702 1270 Kelvin. And immediately, if we try to add water to calcium oxide, that is, if we try to add water to calcium oxide, we get calcium hydroxide, or we say it as a addition of water to calcium oxide will help you in formation of slaking of lime, and slaking of quicklime with soda will result with, or it will give you in result of solid soda lime. Hence, we could say that slaked lime can be prepared when calcium hydroxide is reacting with carbon dioxide. The chemical name is calcium hydroxide, and when it is reacting with carbon dioxide, it will give calcium carbonate plus water. Calcium carbonate plus water. So there are few more methods or for preparation of calcium carbonate. And hence, when we say about the next is plaster of Paris. What is plaster of Paris? Plaster of Paris, basically it occurs in nature as gypsum and anhydrous salt as anhydride, and it is prepared by precipitating a solution of calcium chloride or nitrate with dilute sulfuric acid. So when we say plaster of Paris, as we said, it is obtained by heating the gypsum. And why we require, or what is the high usage of plaster of Paris? It is nothing but calcium sulfate, and it forms a plastic mass on addition of water, which further gets hardened within 5 to 15 minutes. That is why it is being used in manufacturing the decorating pieces, or the most usages in repairing fractured bones or sprains and so on. So it has the tendency of getting hardened within 5 to 15 minutes. That is why it is being used in manufacturing the decorating pieces or fractured bones or sprains. And next important factor which we use in our day-to-day life is cement. Cement is actually a combination of calcium oxide with clay containing silica, that is, and SiO2. Along with it will be having oxides of aluminium, iron and magnesium. So when we talk about percentage, calcium oxide takes 50 to 60 percentage, and silicon oxide is also in percentage of 20 to 25 percentage, and rest others, aluminium oxide, if we say, it takes 5 to 10 percentage, magnesium oxide 2 to 3 percentage, iron oxide 1 to 2 percentage, so and so on. So strong heating of clay and the lime results in their fusion, which is followed by the formation of cement, which is then mixed with 2 to 3 percentage by weight of gypsum, which will help in the formation of cement. So overall, when we try to group together, we could say that what are all the important ingredients of cement? We could say dicalcium silicate, tricalcium silicate, and tricalcium aluminate. And addition of water to the cement hydrates the molecules of constituents, that is the H2O, and because of which, when it is getting hydrated, we are adding gypsum is added in order to slow down the process of the setting of the cement, so that it will make it hardened. That is why we are using in preparation of the concrete, or constructing bridges, dams, buildings, etc. So it is one of the important factor which we are using it. And overall, when we club together as uses of S block elements, we say that it is used for making many combinations. We go with making alloys, and then it is also used in making aeroplanes, lithium, that is lithium plus aluminium, it is used in making aeroplanes. Lithium in combination with magnesium, it will be used in armor plates, or it is even used in making, lithium is used in making electrochemical cells. And many fertilizers are being manufactured using potassium. Sodium in its liquid state, we could say it is used as a coolant in the nuclear reactor, or beryllium is used for creating alloys. So there are many application of the S block elements in our day-to-day life. But it is also important to know that it has some biological importance also. Like sodium ions, it is being found in our blood and in the intestinal surrounding cells, which they will stimulate the nerve signals, and then they allow or regulate the flow of water across the cell membranes. So overall, we could say that alkali metals, when it is being exposed to atmosphere, it will react with oxygen, moisture, or carbon dioxide in order to form oxides or hydroxides or carbonates. So why? In order to prevent all those reactions, the alkali metals are stored under kerosene. It is stored under kerosene so that the reacting capacity can be controlled. And overall, so lithium is considered to be very reactive metal, and it cannot be kept open as it will have the tendency of reacting very violently. So when we try to keep it in kerosene like sodium, it will come on the top of the kerosene surface, and when it get exposed to air, as it is very light metal. That is why lithium alone is stored in wrapping in paraffin bags, because it cannot be stored in kerosene. And sodium amalgam, it has been used in different organic chemistries, you can say, as a powerful reducing agent, because it is very safe to handle than sodium itself. A sodium amalgam, it is used in the design of high pressure sodium lamp, which is helpful in providing sodium to produce the proper color. S block, it is an important chapter, hence to concentrate on learning the concepts or the analysis of the concept which is provided here precise, and it will be helpful for you to answer the questions. So that's all we have for the as far as concepts are concerned. So let us try taking a test from our series. And if you look at the test available here for each chapter, green indicates that the test is taken, blue indicates that it's yet to be taken, and R is a random test if you require in order to take for additional practice. And for each chapter, tests are here, and the number of tests in each chapter depends upon its importance. So today we are going to take a test from S block elements. Let us take that. And it is important to note that answering the question alone is not enough, but keeping an eye on the time is also important. What is natron? Is a mineral whose formula represents. What does its formula represents? Natron is a mineral whose formula, among the given option, if we check which formula represents natron, is actually natron is nothing but a naturally occurring mixture of sodium carbonate decahydrate. So when I say sodium carbonate decahydrate, or it is nothing but a kind of soda ash, and in which around 17% is sodium bicarbonate, which we call it nothing but your baking soda, with small quantities of sodium chloride and sodium sulfate. So natron is a name given to the mixture of sodium carbonate decahydrate. Hence our option D should be the right answer. Let us save that and go to next. The hardest alkali metal is the hardest alkali metal. As of course we all know, lithium has a strong metallic bond among all the given alkali metals here. Hence lithium should be the hardest one. Let us save that and go to next. The alkali metal atom that easily form cation, the alkali metal which easily form cation. So among the alkali metals, if we look at the option, the one which will have electropositive character, that is highest electropositive character and lowest ionization enthalpy. If it has highest electropositive character and lowest ionization enthalpy, they will have the tendency of forming cation. Hence from the given option, if we take, it is CS, which will have highest electropositive character. So let us save that and go to next question. Most widely occurring alkali metals, which is most widely occurring. The most common alkali metal is nothing but sodium, which is around 2.8% of the earth crust. The most widely occurring element is sodium, which is almost, or which is approximately 2.8% of the earth crust. Hence our option should be D. Let us save that and go to next. The number of valence electron in potassium atom are. It's very simple to find out the number of valence electron. So it is of course alkaline earth metals. Then the alkaline metals. Hence we will say that the valence electron, it should be 1. Let us save that and go to next. The outer electronic configuration of radioactive element present in 1A group is. Which element is considered to be the, first we need to know which element is considered to be the radioactive element. If we look into the series or your periodic table, the radioactive element in group 1, it is francium, and the atomic number of it is 87, which will have an electronic configuration of Rn7s1. Hence when we say among this, the electronic configuration of radioactive element, that should be 7s1. Do focus, they have asked outer electronic configuration, not just electronic configuration. Let us save that and go to next. The alkali metals widely used in photoelectric cell. The alkali metals which is widely being used in photoelectric cell, as we had the polarizing power and polarizing character mentioned here. We know that greater the lattice energy, higher will be the melting point, metal halide solubility, and here you are having about the polarizing power. So greater the charge on the cation, greater will be its polarizing power. So alkali metals is used to have low ionization enthalpy, and since the electrons are easily ejected whenever it is being exposed to light. So among the given alkali metals in the option, cesium has lowest ionization enthalpy, and that will show the photoelectric effect to the maximum extent, and that is why it is being used in photoelectric cell. That is option C should be the right one. Let us save that and go to next. The alkali metals with lowest melting point. The alkali metals with lowest melting point. In alkali metal, francium has the lowest melting point, that is around 27 degree Celsius. The easiest way to attempt these type of question is to have a deep knowledge about the properties of the alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. If you are very much clear on the properties of the alkali metals and earth metals, it would be very simple for you to attempt the question, and it would be very simple to get it answered in very less time required. So here our option A should be the right one. Let us save that and go to next. Chlorine can give highly ionic compound with. Chlorine can give. So basically when we look at the option or when we look at the question, we all know that chlorine is highly electronegative element. So hence the if we are having electronegativity difference to be high, if the electronegativity difference between the cation and anion is high, then you can say that it will be highly ionic compound. So among the given option, if we say, we all know that cesium is highly electropositive and chlorine is highly electronegative, hence their difference will be high. So you could conclude that chlorine can give highly ionic compound with cesium. Hence our option should be C. Let us save that and go to next. Metals which emit photoelectrons very easily, as we have already seen, it should be the answer is cesium, because they will have low ionization energy. So our option should be C. Save and go to next. Li shows diagonal relationship with. Li shows diagonal relationship with. So a diagonal relationship is nothing but it is said to exist between certain pair of diagonally adjacent element in the second and third of the periodic table. When we look into the periodic table, there exists a diagonal relationship between elements in the second and third period of the periodic table, and from that we can say that Li will show diagonal relationship with magnesium. Let us save that and go to next. The least electropositive alkali metal is the least electropositive alkali metal. So we all know that alkali metals are strong reducing agent. Hence, the least will be lithium, because it is the least electropositive element. Let us save that and go to next. The metal used in solar cell. As we already discussed, among the given metal, cesium, as usual, they have low ionization enthalpy, hence it will lose electrons very readily. That is why it is being used in solar cell, hence option C. Let us save that and go to next. The alkali metals needed for the growth of plant. It's a well-known fact. If you learn the biological importance of alkali metals, you could be it could be very easy to answer that. Potassium is an essential nutrient required for plant growth, because large amount are being observed from the root zone in the production of most crops, and it is considered to be a macronutrient. It is considered to be a macronutrient. Hence, the symbol for potassium is K. We can say option B to be the right answer. Let us save that and go to next. In the manufacture of caustic soda by Kastner-Kellner process, the product formed are in Kastner-Kellner. Basically what happens, aqueous sodium chloride is being hydrolyzed and sodium amalgam formed will be decomposed with water to give you sodium hydroxide, and hence the byproduct obtained in the process will be H2 and Cl2. H2 and Cl2, hence our option A should be the right one. Let us save that, and we have completed the 15 question. You could make a note that within approximately around 15 or 15 minutes we have completed this test, because it would be very easy for us to attempt if we are very sure on the properties. Let us end the test. And if we look at here, green indicates that it's a correct answer and red will indicate you that it is an incorrect answer. Maybe while marking, I would have clicked on some other option, and if you click on the question, it will help you to find out the right answer as well as the explanation for the answer. So it would be where you can learn the right answer as well as you can take, or you can also learn the explanation of that particular answer, and you could take the test again, because there is no hard and fast rule that test should be taken only once. It can be taken n number of times unless and until I feel confident in that particular test or in the chapter. That is all we have for today's session. If you have any question, do reach us with the help of ask feature, which is available in our app. And you can also reach out to the tutors with place telegram chat application. And if you feel that you need help from any of the tutor, that can be any subject, for one-to-one tutoring, you can reach to Play 6 management and get the instructions to reach out to the tutor. Thank you, students.